marami pang mamamatay. Pero kita mo naman how a government personnel would handle the situation. Hindi ako magano kung drug lord ka tapos sa pursako ang patay. Patay ka talaga. As in, mabuti nga. Why? Because I have said, you have destroyed my country or you are trying to destroy my country. At saka gusto mong sirain ang buhay ng mga anak namin na babae at lalaki. Kita mo yung nasira ang buhay noon. Dahil yun sa droga. You're trying to, kill the young people in this country. Kaya ako, papatayin talaga kita. Kung ako anong doon, papatayin kita. Wala akong pakialam kung may mga TV dyan. Papatayin talaga kita.
The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. More areas in the country are now under tropical cyclone wind signals due to Tropical Storm Dante. Signal number 2 is raised over Masbate, Ticao, and Burias Islands, Albay, and Sorsogon. Same goes for Eastern Samar, Northern Samar, Biliran, Leyte, and Southern Leyte, as well as Dinagat Islands, Siargao, and the Bucas Grande Islands. Meanwhile, several areas across the Philippines are under Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 1. The complete list is being flashed on your screen. Tropical Storm Dante is now moving westward over the Philippine Sea. Now, to give us the latest, weather forecaster Ana Cloren is joining us live from Pag-asa. Ana, why has Tropical Storm Dante suddenly moved westward?
Yes, afternoon, Sir Dexter. It is due that as of the moment, this Tropical Storm Dante is now moving westward at 25 kilometers per hour. It is due to the high-pressure area located at the northeastern portion of our country, or it is located at the around East Taiwan or somewhere around Japan area.
Okay, given that, are we expecting any changes to its expected landfall?
As of the moment, we are expecting that the initial landfall will happen over the Eastern Samar or Leyte area between this afternoon or this evening. But if the movement will persist westward, it is expected to make initial landfall over Leyte or Dinagat Siargao Islands area, also within this afternoon or this evening.
Now, should we be expecting it as well to intensify in the next few days?
In the next we are not, as of the moment, we're not expecting that this tropical storm will intensify. And by Friday, it is expected to weaken into a tropical depression, and by Saturday, into a low-pressure area.
So it is, in a way, a given as well that we should not be expecting at least any signal number 3 to be raised in any parts of the country later today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now, any updates on the low-pressure area outside the Philippine area of responsibility that's been spotted east of Mindanao? Will the LPA enter the Philippines within the week?
Yes, sir. As of the moment, this LPA is not expected to affect any parts of the country, and low chance of developing into a tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours, and it may enter our area of responsibility as a low-pressure area.
All right. Again, it's something, of course, we have to keep an eye on. Thank you very much for those updates. Pag-asa weather forecaster Ana Cloren. Now, San Juan City opens another vaccination site to further increase the LGU's existing 2,000 daily vaccination capacity. Now, to give us more details, we have Greg Gregorio reporting live from San Juan. Now, Greg, where is a new vaccination site exactly? Okay, we seem to be having a bit of a technical difficulty there trying to reach Greg. We'll get back to that report later on. But for now, the DOH wants to prioritize those who are 40 years old and above in the A4 vaccination group, much to the dismay of those in their 20s who physically report to work. Patricia Mangune with the details. Nawala din audio natin, friend.
Yung Zamboanga del Norte, Having to attend to several customers daily, 59-year-old fruit vendor Wilfredo can't help but be anxious. But he may soon get a dose of protection. The Interagency Task Force has recategorized the A4 vaccination group to include not just government and private employees reporting physically to work, but also those in the informal sector like Wilfredo.
Masaya siyempre para ay kung kami lang kuhan ay saan naman kami kukuha ng pambili niyan ay gasino ba naman itong kinikita rito.
What's more, the health department recommended to prioritize those aged 40 and above in the A4 group.
Pinaka-vulnerable po para magkasakit ng severe, para maospital at para mamatay dito sa sakit na to ay yung mga nakakatanda. Kaya ang sabi namin, kung magkakaroon din lang ng prioritization across this A4 group dahil marami po sila at ito po ay base sa mga supplies pa rin na parating, baka mas maganda if we can stratify this by age and we can prioritize the older age group in this specific sector. So ibig sabihin, maaari nating gawing stratified na 50 to 60 years old muna, and then 40 to 50, and then 30 to 40, and down the line.
But what about those not yet in their 40s, especially those reporting for work on site, like these 20-something food industry workers?
Mauna na rin po. Para maging safe din kasi sa trabaho ko, ganyan maraming nakasalamuha. Pagkain po kasi.
Kasi kailangan pantay-pantay po yung kasi para sa lahat ng tao yung bakuna po. Hindi, wala sa senior.
A4 vaccination guidelines have yet to be finalized. It's also a concern whether there's enough vaccine supply for the group in the first place.
Magsisimula ang A4 vaccination kapag tayo ay nakapag-release na ng guidelines at kapag ang mga supply ay naandyan na o maaari na nating sabihin na yung allocations ay maayos na po. So sa ngayon, dinadraft na po ang mga pamantayan or guidelines ng vaccine cluster.
The IATF said the initial focus of the A4 rollout will be in Metro Manila, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal, Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao, or the NCR plus 8. For News 5, Patricia Mangune. We are One News.
Let's circle back to Greg Gregorio. He's in San Juan, where another vaccination site is open today. Greg, where is this new vaccination site exactly?
Yes, Jess, with a partnership between the San Juan LGU and the private sector, Greenhills says Theater Mall Cinemas 1 and 2 will operate as a vaccination site starting today. San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora said this could cater up to 1,500 vaccinations each day, pushing their daily vaccination capacity to 3,500. This as the operations continue at their first vaccination site, which is the Phil Oil Flying V Center. Zamora says this new site intends to expand the city's vaccination program as the country awaits the start of inoculations of the A4 priority sector, or those considered as essential and economic workers. So far, San Juan City has vaccinated 28,000 individuals, or 33% of their target population. Online registration for vaccinees are still ongoing. Meanwhile, to boost vaccination coverage, Zamora issued 2 executive orders. EO number 81 is for A4 vaccination in the city of both non-residents and residents alike. And EO 82 is to encourage business establishments in the city to offer incentives and or discounts to vaccinated customers. Some restaurants were given compliance stickers earlier so that customers would know that they are participating in the city's vaccine incentive program. Just 32 individuals under A2 and A3 priority sectors were given their shot of COVID-19 vaccine here at Greenhills early this morning. But once the inoculation of A4 starts, this vaccination site would only cater to A4 non-resident vaccinees of the LGU, while their first vaccination site, which is the Phil Oil Flying V Center, will cater all resident vaccinees in the city. Recall that Greenhills Mall was considered as the ground zero for the local transmission of COVID-19 here in the country back in March 2020. But now Mayor Zamora highlights that they ensure compliance to health protocols and safety standards to prevent the further spread of the virus. Jess?
Thank you very much for those updates. Greg Gregorio reporting live from San Juan. Members of PDP-Laban are set to reconvene on July 17 to discuss possible changes in its leadership. PDP-Laban's acting Secretary General Melvin Matibag pointed out that Senator Manny Pacquiao merely assumed the party's presidency upon the resignation of Senator Coco Pimentel. He said it's better for the party to elect a new set of officers, which can only happen in a National Assembly.
In the case of Senator Pacquiao, he assumed as acting president due to the resignation of Senator Coco Pimentel. So even our bylaws will say na yung term of office of all the officers will always be for 2 years. So everybody right now is on a holdover capacity. So ibig sabihin, it's better that we have the National Assembly so that we will decide on the leadership.
For now, PDP-Laban has only adopted a resolution urging President Duterte to run as vice president in the 2022 elections. But if the president refuses to run, Vice Chair and Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi said the party will have to reconvene to pick new presidential, vice presidential, and senatorial candidates. The group is also open to the idea of forming a coalition with another party.
We did not limit the choice to be made by the president if ever the president would run for vice president na, sir, pwede kayong pumili kung sino ang gusto nyo nakarapat-dapat sa bansa. Kasi nagtitiwala kami sa inyo.
China lifts its two-child policy and is now allowing all couples to have a third child. This move aims to slow the nation's declining birth rate amid a rapidly aging population. Tom Mackenzie reports on Bloomberg Daybreak, Australia.
Major change to its family planning policies. What do we know about that?
So at a Politburo meeting headed by Xi Jinping, China announced it was a surprise move that families here will now be able to have 3 children. We don't have the time frame. We don't know exactly when this will be enacted, but it does follow decades of very gradual changes to the family planning policies in China. In 2016, they allowed families to increase the number of children they could have from 1 to 2, and you saw in 2016 a short-term blip in terms of upward moves, in terms of the numbers of births. The concern is that this is too little, too late. Policymakers are clearly very anxious about a possible declining population. You could see the population of China falling before 2025, according to some economists. You had 12 million new births last year. That was the lowest number since 1961. But others are saying, look, you need much more than just this announcement. You need to follow through with policy changes around maternity leave, around pushing down the cost of education and housing. So most think this will not be enough. There have to be other policies enacted if China is going to miss this major demographic challenge.
Now, at 44 years old, Zhang Hong has become the first blind Asian and only the 3rd blind climber to scale Mount Everest. But he says it's not stopping there. Let's watch this. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, we are One News.